welcome back to my channel, Chris Lies Bob and Stitches. I'm Nancy. On today's episode, I'll be talking on how to make a simple bossa or a simple short with an elastic on it. Yeah. So thank you so much for subscribing to our returning subscribers. To those that have not subscribed, kindly do so. Click on the notification bell so you'll be notified when we upload new videos. So let's get through this episode. Thank you. Join me as we walk through this episode. So this is the fabric I'll be using. It's just a small piece. This is the fabric I'll be using. What I have to do is to fold it first. I'll fold it this way first. That's the first thing I'm doing. Folding this way. That's the first step. Step one. The next thing I'll be doing is to mark out the full length. I have the full length to be 11 inches. I'll be adding 3 inches to it. I'll be adding 2 inches to it, making it 13. The full length is 11 plus 2 inches. Sewing allowance. So this is it. Then length from here to here plus 2 inches sewing allowance. The next thing I have to do is to mark out this crotch area, the crotch area. So I'll be using the hip measurement divide by 4 to achieve it. So, and our hip divide by 4 is giving us 6.5. So I'll mark 6.5 here. I'll mark 6.5 here. So this is the crotch area, which is from here to here. Then the next thing to do is to mark our waist. Our waist divided by 4 is 6 inches. But we'll be adding 3 inches allowance to it because we're adding an elastic to it. Then you mark it down to the crotch area. We are not actually using the hip measurement because it's going to have an elastic, so the hip area is not needed. So what we have to do here is to mark 1 inch here and mark 1 inch here. Then use it to form an arc. The essence of marking the 1 inch is to enable us form an arc here. So this is what we have here. This is the arc. This is the curve or the arc or the comma we made here. So the next thing to do is from here you draw it down to the full length. From here down to the full length. Then you cut. So this is it. I'll be using this one to cut out another one. So for this one now, I'll be adding 1.5 inch. I'll be adding 1 inch to it because it's for a little boy. So I'll be adding 1.5 inch to it. 1 inch to it. Then the same thing I did here to form the arc here, that's still the same thing I'll do here. For the waist area, I'm not slanting the front part because it's going to have an elastic, so it will be on the same level. Then I cut. So this is what I have. This is the front, this is the back. Then I'll open it here. So this is all about the stitching. The next thing we're going to, this is all about the cotton. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to stitch on it. Yeah. What we have. This is the front. This is the front. This is the back. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to stitch it. So this side now is the wrong side. This is the wrong side. So the first thing we're going to be doing is to run a stitch here. Run a stitch here. That's the first thing to do. We're going to run a stitch here and run a stitch here. So let's go. This is what I have. So we have, after stitching on the two sides, this is it, we stitch here to get this. This is the front, this is the back, this is the other leg, this is the front, this is the back. So the next thing we're going to do is to join it from here, from the flap area. We have to join this first here. This and this, we'll stitch on here to this edge, we'll stitch here. Then this one, we'll still turn it out this way and stitch on it here. Stitch here, stitch here. That's the stitching part of it. So I will do the same thing to the other parts. So after stitching on these two sides, this is what we have. This is the outcome. This is what it looks like. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to stitch, to join this crotch area together. So I'm going to start from here. You can still start from the middle, center to center, but I'll be starting from here. But the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this point here, this center point here, and this center point here joins together. That's a must. You have to make them to be as equal with one another. So I'm going to start from here, stitch it down to the other parts of it. So yeah. This way, you see, these points and points will be together. We'll join them. After stitching on these areas, this is what we have. Trim off the threads. So this is what I am having, or what I got. This is the outcome. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this area. That's the upper parts of the gown. I have to work on it because there will be an elastic. You have to make a casing for an elastic. You can decide to add a band to it, then pass the elastic on it, or you can decide to fold it in and pass the elastic on it. Whichever one it is still fine. So for me, I'll be attaching a band to it, then pass a rope, pass the elastic to it. So what I have here is 17 inches. The waist 17 inches times 2. Okay, 16 and a half inches times 2 inches. So I'll be making it 17 inches because of the seam allowance where I'll be joining it. So I'll be using 17 inches times 2 to get my band measurements or my band length. So for the distance for the band, 17 inches, remember, or 17 inches, yes. Then I have to be adding, for the width of the band, I'm going to be using 4 inches because it's going to be on a fold. It's going to be on a fold like this way. It's going to be on a fold this way. So this is what we have. 17 inches times 2. Then this way. You see? So we're going to be attaching this band now to the shorts. The shorts. This way. I opened the back parts of it, the back side. Yeah. So after attaching it, this is what I have. The next thing I've been doing is to attach the elastic to this casing that I've made. After attaching the band, you have to fold in the edges of the shorts to give you a neat finishing. So this is the elastic I'll be adding to the casing. Since the waist is 24, I'll be using 22 inches. I'll be using 22 inches length for the elastic. That's elastic I'll be attaching 22 inches. So this is 22 inches in length. Then I will insert it into this casing using a set pin. So this is the set pin. This way. And I'm going to attach it to this casing. Pull it through to the other end of it. Oh, sorry, this is a mistake. This is the elastic. I'll attach it here. Then you have to make sure that it doesn't slip through inside. What I have to do here is to I'll stitch here so it will not slip through, then pull it out from the other end. So I've inserted the elastic to the waist or to the band. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to close it. So from here, I'm going to stitch it to the end, like this way. I'm going to stitch here, then to this edge here. So after closing the casing, this is what I have. So this is the final product. This is it. This is our bossa. This is what we have as our bossa. So the next thing I'll be doing is to weave the inner parts of it to close the rough edges. That's the next thing I'll be doing. And the essence of weaving is just to give it a neat finishing. Nothing specific. So This is our final result. This is what we have for the shorts with elastic.